Alright, so the UFC is back in London and I am missing the privilege of having this card at a reasonable hour. I should have booked my time in Asia a few days later. It's been 2 weeks since we've had a card. No card happened last week. No card happened. For US audiences, this looks like a poor card, but UK fans know there are some good ones here. Let's get into this right now. Alright, this is a nice little scrap to start off the card. The midgets are usually skilled and put on competitive fights. My official pick here is the over 2.5. But Filho is a much better wrestler with a slick ground game, and Perez is a bit of a can crusher. Looks great against mid-competition, but I think the step up here is going to surprise him, and he's going to struggle to impose his game here. I think Filho will dominate on the ground and threaten subs to either get a late one or a pretty decisive decision. I'm not confident enough to bet on this though. Perez may adjust to the level change and do quite well. Alright, I've got Irish blood coursing through my veins and I'm not looking to get thrown out here. Bannon has a reach advantage and has had 4 fights in the past year. She's held gold, albeit in a regional promotion, and has shown that she can handle the spotlight. Brazil was just coming off a TKO loss, which always concerns me, and while I expect her to not get smoked or outclassed here, I think she's going to get outworked. Again, I'm taking the plus 2.5 officially. It is a female fight, for God's sakes, but I'm saying Bannon, my countrywoman, will come out on top, even if I don't believe it. We never will know. Alright, for me this is a golden opportunity to make some serious bank. I almost double-taked when Askmouz was the underdog. Duncan just got off a split decision win against Morales, who hadn't fought in ages, and it was a razor close fight. He also has a tendency to get wobbled, and my boy now brings that freak ginger power. We just saw what he did to Sam Peterson, who is rangy and has power himself, and I genuinely thought he murdered that man in there. He's the betting underdog and won't be by the end of the week, I'm convinced of that. Duncan is not too technical, and I think he tries to firefight with this animal and gets absolutely bonged. Crowd are going to be silent after this shit, or laughing, you know, he's Scottish. What the fuck is this? Brian Barberena is a fat welterweight that should be fighting a weight class down, and now he's fighting at middleweight. You fat lazy bitch. He just got smoked by Gunner like it was nothing, and his solution is to go up a weight. Weird thing though is that I actually think Muradov is pretty mid himself. I don't like the odds on this at all. He should not be this big a favourite. He got GM freed and then lost pretty convincingly to Baraujo, who to be fair is very good. Muradov's gas tank really sucks as well, and if he doesn't starch Barberena early, this could get interesting. I am picking him to win a close decision, but I'm staying away from this line. This is a really strange matchup. Alright, I'm getting Braxton Smith vibes here. You remember that fat heavyweight that gassed himself out throwing 5 punches and then fell over exhausted on his ass and embarrassed me by picking him? I'm feeling this might happen with Parsons, who is untested at this level pretty badly. He's had 5 fights as a pro, and while he did look impressive in some of those, they were against guys with a massively negative combined record, and that really does concern me. Pogues isn't exactly a well-beater though himself, and isn't really the type of guy to go out and starch anyone. He's more of a grinder. I think for most people the safe bet is of course going to be the under 1.5 as it's heavyweight, but my gut is telling me that Pogues wards off the danger and then takes him down and dominates on top. Parkin has a slight reach advantage, but I think Pogues is more experienced and I think he's going to grind this one out. Alright, I really like Alvarez in this one. He has the reach, which is going to be a problem for Diakiese in how he handles range. And I think Diakiese's new style of going for takedowns and trying to grind out wrestling is not going to fare well for him here. Alvarez might not be a wrestler, but taking this guy down to the ground is not a thing you really want to do. He's long, he snatches limbs, and I just don't see where Diakiese can find an advantage here. He's very inconsistent and has been subbed in his career a few times, and I can't see where he has any advantage against Joel. Joel is coming off a loss, but it was against Sarukian, and he did look decent in moments. I think Alvarez catches him and finishes him on the ground. This one makes me quite nervous. Parsons is pretty explosive, but I think Roberts has fought better guys, and I think the significant reach advantage here will be important, and I think he's going to be smart to take advantage of this. Roberts' chin is made of glass, but if he can make Parsons swing and miss early, He can wear down the effects of that power by picking away and using fence control and knees in the clinch. And I think he's going to take this one by just using that kind of approach. He will have the home crowd on his side, and I've already picked against multiple UK fighters. I think Roberts is going to get this done by a late stoppage or decision, but we'll have moments where we're covering our eyes and praying as UK fans. This is the one I've gone the most back and forth on. If Grant was taking this fight before his last one, I'd be picking him without hesitation. He puts enormous pressure on, is a technical striker that can be quite unorthodox and creative, and he has that dog in him. Trouble is that he was losing to a Sun Sao, who despite looking like he has something in the tank, is not quite the same guy, and Grant needed a Hail Mary to pull that one out of the bag. Marcos is younger, has less damage on that chin, and has progressively stepped up in competition. If Grant can draw on that home crowd, that will heavily be on his side. He will pull off the upset here, and I'm picking him to be tough and hand Marcos his first loss. I'm not that confident, but this is a hard pick. I think Grant's going to get a split win. He's keeping it very close lately. I think decision overall is the pick, though. This is another tough one and a great matchup. I thought Murphy actually lost his fight against Gabriel Santos, but he got the win on paper, and there were some mitigating circumstances. He took it on short notice in terms of being a replacement fighter, and was coming off a very long layoff and after a motorcycle accident, I believe it was. He did get clipped in that last fight and got controlled on the ground, and that really concerns me. Culibao, on the other hand, has been active and has won against 3 high-level opponents in pretty dominating fashion. I think Murphy is going to be better on the ground though, and if he can avoid getting popped in the first, I think he eventually takes over. I think Murphy has got the rust off, he's had more time to recover, and again, that home advantage means something. The London crowd generally has that energy. I was originally picking Culibao, but to be honest, I watched the Guru's breakdown of this, which I usually don't do before I make my own, and he kind of swayed me a little bit. I'm kind of admitting to simping a little bit here. I'm not betting this though. Culibao is not an easy out, and this could be a very close fight. Alright, I've picked against Ziam several times in the past and been badly burned. Am I learning on this one? This is tough. I think Herbert is excellent. He badly hurt Tybura and almost had him out of there, and got choked out badly by Moicano, but he is excellent on the feet, and I thought he got robbed in his draw of Klein. I picked him to win, mostly because I think Klein is kind of shit, but I think Herbert is... I don't think he's really had the wins that his skill set deserves. I might regret this, but I'm taking the underdog here. Ziam lost to McKinney 2 fights ago by a fucking sub, and I can't pick him based on that. Herbert is a different animal on the feet. He has very good takedown defense, and I think he's going to be elusive at range and catch Ziam at some point and badly hurt him. It's a great matchup, I think. Herbert is getting better and is way overdue a statement win. He's at a great gym as well, full of winners. I think he gets a big win on home soil here. I do think the odds should be closer on this one, but I don't love this. I'm going to take Muniz, man, and I really hope I'm wrong. Craig has some incredible wins, very notable wins, and is very dangerous on the ground, but his takedown game absolutely sucks, and I think Muniz is the better striker that is more used to making that middleweight cut. I think what's swaying me is the cuts down tend to not work out, especially for men later on in their careers. He's moved down to avoid powerful guys at light heavyweight, and he's fighting a guy that is big and strong in the division and more skilled than a lot of the guys that Craig has already lost to. I do want Craig to win. Dude is funny as hell, and if the weight cut goes perfectly, this could be close. I just can't depend on that, and I need to apply some bad MMA math and logic here. I think Muniz gets a finish, and Craig hangs it up in the cage on this very night. Alright, I'm picking Wood, but this is a very tricky fight. Fili is a game vet with a reach advantage, fighting out of a gym that is masterful in preparing for takedown threats. Wood needs a statement win and has taken a lot of time off, and is also tough as nails. I think this is going to go to a decision, and both men will attempt takedowns throughout the fight, but I think Wood's going to be the more active striker, winning the eye test for the judges here. The official pick is a decision, and I feel more confident as English-based fighters tend to get the home advantage pick if the fight is close, and I expect this to be a fairly even contest. Wood is the younger prospect with a bigger following, and I think he's going to get the win here. Perfect for the UFC. Alright, this is the co-main event for some reason. we all know the reason, really. And despite residing in Britain, I loathe Molly McCann. I'd love nothing more than to see her get bonged out here. I think she's been given a favourable matchup, though. She's tough to finish standing, and that is where the fight is going to take place. She's being put here to get the crowd hyped to all hell, and I think she's going to deliver on that. Stoliarenko is dreadful, and I think she's going to get outworked and hurt here in a scrappy fight that will be fun for what it is. I think McCann's going to win by UD 30-27. I don't feel like I need to put too much into this one. This is a total mismatch. Aspinall has the striking advantage, is a savage on the ground, and Tybura is very decent, but he's just not at the same level. This is being set up to thrust Aspinall back into the title picture, and the only way this goes tits up for me is if Aspinall's injury is somehow more serious than we thought, and somehow reoccurs in another freak situation. I think Aspinall's going to beat the fuck out of him, and he's probably going to choke him out on the ground after hurting him on the feet. A few analysts have called this a presentation fight of sorts to make Aspinall look good, and I hate to be dry and obvious, but that's exactly what this is to me too. If Aspinall loses, he's done as a prospect, and I hope I don't jinx it because the heavyweight division really needs him right now. Alright, so I'm coming in with an overall record of... That's not right, I haven't changed that. Anyway, I think I'm up to 182, 88 or 87. And I've got a win percentage of 67%. I'm really looking forward to this card. As I said, I'll be watching it in the wee hours, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'll catch up with you in the early hours of Sunday morning. Have a great rest of the week, and yeah, I look forward to breaking this down on the weekend.